What's up, guys? It's Gambit. Thanks for dropping in for another Godforge video. Like the title says, we are now halfway through the beta, 1 week to go, and I think it's probably appropriate, now that we've gotten our hands on quite a bit of the content they wanted to give us, to do a review and the initial thoughts that we have about the game. The good, the bad, the ugly, what we hope to see them do in their time between their betas, and all of that. A disclaimer for this video, this game is in beta 1. They're going to do a beta 2 before the full release of the game. So everything you're going to see, just take it with a grain of salt that it probably will be fixed before the release. The devs are on it, and they're really looking for our feedback, and that's kind of what we're doing here. Kicking off the review, I think it's appropriate to start at the beginning of the game as if you were logging in for the first time. The game opens up to a very well done cinematic on a singed battlefield, where you get to see Ra standing in the center and features Brynhild, kind of an underdog warrior charging in to battle Ra. Very well done cinematic here. No notes at all. 10 out of 10 from me. It opens seamlessly into the tutorial, where you'll do your initial wave-based content and kind of learn the ins and outs of the battle mechanics, as well as kind of fight Ra for the first time, where it leads you to pick your starter champion. I do feel like the tutorial was very well done for all players. You've played many games where the tutorial is just so annoying and there's all these pop-ups and you just can't actually play the game because it's forcing you into everything. I feel like this one's timeline was very well thought out. It respects veterans of this genre to not hold them hostage and keep them from playing the game, but also gives the ins and outs of the basics for newer players. Very well rounded. I enjoyed the tutorial. I thought it was just fine. Additionally, I do feel like the game was very welcoming right up front for the beta, giving you guys a lot of freebies, a lot of free calendars, login rewards, a weekly login reward, and things of that nature, allowing you to do your first Aetherstone summon. I think that's probably the most cool part of the game for most players, is just that risk and what are you going to draw out of these stones, and they set you up with a flawless early on to get a legendary, things like that. I think when it comes to this game, that's probably people's favorite thing to watch, is the summons themselves. But overall, I think the intro to the game, all the way from the opening cinematic through the tutorial to your claiming your first summons, very well done and keeps the player base wanting to return. I do want to go ahead and move from the intro into the actual content of the game, the good, the bad, and the ugly of what we found so far playing through this beta. Starting off on the right foot, I do want to start with the good things. Initially, I love the theme. I love the characters, the pantheons, and the overall skin of this game. Seeing the gods and lores that I'm already familiar with kind of makes it exciting for me to want to grab those characters. So definitely a good choice for players such as myself in order to keep us interested in the possible heroes. Other than that, I think because these games can be very identical to one another, other games such as Raid Shadow Legends, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Summoner's War, things like that, a lot of them can be identical, but already early in the beta, there is a couple newer, unique things that sets it apart from some of those other titles. One being the smithy. I think the addition of the weapon into the gear and some of the abilities there, it's a pretty cool twist on the game. I enjoy that quite a bit. And then additionally, the Crucible, which is kind of similar, but the imprints coming from every character in the game and all of them being unique is very intricate, allows for a lot of theory crafting, and really customizable, even down to the small pieces of text is really pretty fascinating. Additionally, one of the things that I really am enjoying about the game is the ultimate abilities. Early on, I actually didn't really expect to. I didn't play the alpha, so I didn't know how they worked. But now that I've gotten my hands on them, I actually really enjoy them. A lot of times in games like this, you want to ignore some of the abilities and not use them and just spam their basic ability to apply a certain debuff. And honestly just ignore the ultimate, but it's cool in this game that you don't have to do that because it does not count as a turn when you use the ultimate, and I love that mechanic in the game. It adds to some strategy whenever you're trying to 3-star these campaign nodes, because one of the requirements is to do it in under 20 turns. So if you're right there, right around turn 20, and you have your ultimates cooked up, and you're on turn 20, well, then you can go out of turn. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be that character's turn in order to use it. You can see right now it is that samurai, I can't remember his name. It is his turn, and I can use Lady Jacques' ultimate here. So super cool mechanic there. Really, really well done on that one. Speaking of Lady Jacques and ultimate abilities, things like that, one of the final things I'll touch on in this video as far as what I think was very well done, like I said, is the theme and the heroes that are available. Love seeing different people that I'm already aware of, Apollo, Guan Yu on there, Thorkel, Ramses, those are all very familiar names to me, so like it's cool to actually see them and get to play with them, and their kits are very well done, something you would honestly expect these types of characters to have. So very, very well done there. I think if I had to pick a favorite character that I've gotten to draw so far, probably Banshee. Banshee has been phenomenal for me, even at like a lower level. Very cool. I think why she's my favorite is probably just how she fits and the debuffs that she applies and her abilities. She's got 2 AoEs, one on the ultimate, which is a double hitter. Sounds like a shotgun on the audio. Like, it's actually kind of cool. But very, very powerful hero here. Definitely, I think, could use a slight touch up maybe on the art. Just being honest, you can see it's not totally clean here, but it is beta. The leg popping through there, eyes are a little bit crazy, and the hair, that must be some crazy product in that hair to make it stand up like that. But yeah, so far I think that is going to be my favorite. Close second, Apollo. Probably just because his abilities look really good. They are very, very well done visuals there. As always, these games are very exciting as far as theory crafting and team building, and I already have an eye on an all-epic team that I wanted to build in this beta. I've gotten 3 of the 5 characters I need. I'm going to go ahead and do my polls here just to see if I can get them, but the last 2 characters I'm going for are Freki and Achilles to be my bleed engine. I need it in my team, but I already got Ninsoon, Brynhild, and Banshee, and that should be covering all of the debuffs that I want to do for like the various bosses and stuff like that. So we'll see on these polls if I get lucky. This is probably like my favorite part of the game, is actually doing the polls. Bastet has a good synergy with Ra. Would also love to get my hands on Ra. So hopefully I can get another flawless here pretty soon and hopefully pull him. All right, Achilles, there he is. So 1 to go. If I can get Freki, I have the team that I want to make, and I have a whole week to build them up. That would be very exciting. But nonetheless, I will keep farming, and I will keep pulling stones, and I will go for them. Let's go, Freki. Give me a Freki. All right, not this time, but no big deal. We got Achilles, and that is great. 1 to go, and I can build the team that I'm after. Absolutely stoked to get that rolling. That being said, guys, unfortunately, I think I am going to go ahead and roll into the negative of it. Some things that I hope to see them improve. I think that they definitely will improve on kind of the rough edges of the game. So I'm not too worried about things like small lags here or freezes there. That is very beta-like stuff, and it's kind of to be expected almost to a point. I will say the initial release had like a little error with downloads, things like that, and the team did resolve it very quickly. I'm very confident that the team is going to get this game whipped up in shape really quick between the betas, even not just before the full release. That being said, the first negative note that I have, and it's one that I can't tell if it's going to be because it's a beta or if it's just how they want the game to be, but personally, I am not too fond of the campaign requirements. And what I mean by that is if you come to the stages, you can see the 3-star requirements. Stage 1 and 2 are just fine. Clear the stage under 20 turns and clear the stage. That's great. But this third one is the thing that I hope that they fix or that they replace rather. You can see this one's just an example. Clear the stage with at least 2 Olympus or 2 Omeican heroes. I don't like, especially early on in games like this, being told what to build. And I don't want to sound too harsh with that. You know, they're not dictating your build specifically or anything, but it's fine for the first few regions. But as you get further into the game to where the campaign actually gets hard enough, well, you can't just toss in the characters to meet that requirement. You actually have to level them up so far for them to be able to actually clear and get that 3rd star. So not too fond of that. I like to get my core team that I'm comfortable with, build them up all the way, let them carry me through the campaign and the initial stages of all the dungeons and kind of boss level content, if you will. And then from that point, branch out specifically to do better in certain areas of the game. Kind of forcing a well-rounded roster up front, I feel like very much stalls the growth and makes it a little bit less interesting because, oh, I got my character up to level 30. I can't wait to get him to 40, but you can't because you got to shift your resources over here in order to get your star requirements done. So I do hope they revisit that. A fix that I would do is probably just replace this 3rd requirement with something way more generic that any character is going to be able to accomplish. The more generic, the better. Make it hard, but make it to where I can use any character. That would be great. That's going to be the first negative one for me and something that I recommend that they change. Let me know in the comments down below. How do you feel about that one? Do you like having the well-rounded roster early on in the game? Let me know your thoughts there. And then just one more. It's not too big. I'm going to leave the really big ones to other people. I think they've got enough feedback on those. But I think one of the things that keeps players coming back is the feel of the game. And one of the things that you get the biggest feel of the game is the Sanctuary. That's what we're looking at right now, kind of the home base. In numerous games, I spend a lot of time just running around exploring, and I know you can't run around in this game, but games like Destiny and the Tower, the social hubs, things like that, they're just really cool, very well built and intricate. And I will say for Godforge, the centerpiece here is awesome. I love the Stonehenge-like forge with the kind of energy beam there in the middle for the summoning. Very well done on the centerpiece. But I do have to say the border of the town is very lackluster to me. Kind of boring. I do hope that it gets some love, gets some just some touch up to match the theme of the game. Like whenever I look at the border of this town, I don't think Godforge. If I'm thinking about it, I would want something Greek, something like coming out of Athens with some really big godlike statues and pillars, things like that. So I definitely hope that they can touch it up. You spend so much time here in the Sanctuary. You have to come back here to get to every different bit of content in the game. So I do think it could use some love. It's functional, but I think it could use a touch up. I know that one's not too important or game breaking or anything, but it's important to me, and I think I would like to see a lot of players really just enjoy the UI that they interact with the most. All right, guys, I do hate ending on a negative note, so I do just want to reiterate again that this is a beta, and for it just being a beta, it's honestly very well done. I'm very impressed. There are rough edges that they're going to have to take care of, and I think they're aware of them, and they're going to get it done. That being said, for a positive note, I do want to say that the devs are on it. If you're not in the Discord, you should be. Just be looking out for the news that they're dropping. They're very interactive with the community. As soon as an issue pops up, they address it. And because of that, I think that could honestly be what makes this game, Beta 2, the full release, a little bit successful. So if you don't like the current state, I encourage you to get in there and pipe up. Let them know what you don't like about the game so that they have a chance to fix it. If you stay quiet, it's not going to get fixed. So that's why we got just a couple of the negative things that we would like to see changed in on this video. But that being said, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this kind of midpoint review. We'll do an end of beta review in the future, but wanted to get this one out there. If you are contemplating, trying this out, highly recommend you do so. I did get on the creators list for this. So if you check out the description down below, you can click on that link, the creator link down there, and it's going to take you where you need to be in order to play this game. A whole week to go. You can get so much done in there. Highly recommend you guys try it out. That being said, guys, if you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. I would appreciate it a lot. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I really appreciate it, and I will be catching you guys in the next one.